Okay, just getting everything situated here. One big pull on the vape. Sounds it's so comfortable. Hello, my beauties. How is everybody doing? The Mr. Archer here. Had a slight couple of issues yesterday. I know some people came in and I was scheduled to go live at like, I don't know, over here it'd be like, let's say things like 6 o'clock, right? I tried to go on at 6 o'clock. I was going at it. I was finger waving. I was just gesticulating. I was doing a whole bunch of things. And then I realized that I had one of my audio settings, because on the main screen where you see the Mr. Archer with the this and the this and the come on, the main screen that you have there, that has been muted because that's my audio capture like 0.1 or whatever you want to call it. And then the screen that has the Everblue corner. By the way, welcome to the Everblue corner. I'm in the process of trying to find something that's not predictable. And the Mr. Archer isn't exactly the most catchy thing, or I'm the Mr. Archer. But having the channel name The Mr. Archer is a little bit different. But I've tried Toffee Talk, and, you know, some people that have... Jeff Thompson, get in! Jeff Thompson and Ant, the two most loyal people I have here. I know it's late over there, boys. I know one of you's working. I know one of you's just here, but I appreciate it. Anyways, so yeah, and then I tried to go live again, like 20 minutes later after I got all the audio set up. But anyways, yeah, Everblue corner. May be catchy, may not, but we'll see. I don't have any social media presence. But anyways, and so I went live again, and then my brother-in-law came by completely unannounced. And 3 days ago, we had said that he could, you know, because our weed whacker, you know, little trimmer, whatever you call him, broke down. And so he was supposed to come over on Saturday, and I told him not to come over while I'm watching my football, right? So don't come over during the Everton game, don't come over anything. He just didn't show up. And then we didn't get any contact from him. And then all of a sudden, he shows up when I'm like 5 minutes into my stream again, and he was in a car accident, not a bad one, but just complaining and going over a whole bunch of stuff. American Blue Nose TV. Who knows what it could come on to. By the way, before we get into this, yes, it's supposed to be the season so far. Yes, it's supposed to be my mini-series type thing, but we're going to get into the Carabao Cup result. But then also, I want your attention at the top of the screen. A lot of people want to know how they can, well, a lot, obviously I don't have a lot of people following me or watching, but the subscriber count's going up. Look at that, it's 693. Thanks to Ant, thanks to other people for spreading the word. But yeah, Discord channel. When people want to chat me, you can either get at me on Instagram like Ant does, and we had a conversation today. And but if people want to get in contact with me, best way to do it would be my Discord, and that's at the top there. But also, if anybody ever wants to come on after an Everton game, if you have a microphone, if you have a headset, or whatever you have, there is voice chat in the Discord. And I can hook that up to where you and I can have a conversation. We can discuss things. We can either do it on stream or we can do it off stream. But, you know, it'd be preferable if it was on stream, or we make a video out of it and we can have people talk. So me just getting up here and talking and interacting with chat, it's fun. I enjoy it. People in the chat enjoy it. I know that, 'cause that's why they keep coming back for more of Archie, the wolf, occasionally. And And I'll address Archie the Wolf actually in a second. But that's it. The Discord's there. Let's get into, first of all, everybody, the Carabao Cup result. Nobody got to see it on TV, right? Everyone had to listen on the radio. There wasn't even any illegal, pirated, shoddy, shite streams to watch. Like, they decided to televise Stoke versus Crawley and some other games. But no, Everton can't be on TV. Usually the networks are so hyped, like they were against Lincoln City. It's like, oh, we're going to put Lincoln versus Everton on. That could be an upset because they want, obviously, Everton to get upset and get knocked out the cup. But no such luck, people. And then, we're not on today where we just came off of a horrible result, 9 days ago against Bournemouth. And then we got turned over. We really did. 2-0 to Sheffield United at home is getting turned over. I don't care about the possession stats. I don't care about the shots on goal and on target and all that stuff. We got turned over because we lost 2-0 at home at our fortress where our home form was so good, all that stuff. But so you couldn't watch the game. I was listening on the radio, and 6 minutes in, bam! And this is it, right? I heard Jibril Cisse. Jibril Cisse. Jibril Cisse. Jibril Sidibe. Two completely different players, obviously. Sidibe running into space, running into the open gap ahead of him, brought the ball up the pitch, pings the ball over to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin brings it down beautifully with control, bangs it in off the bar, 1-0, and I was like, oh, thank all the gods, old and new, all that stuff, all about it. And then, I was like, oh, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored. Obviously, and I don't want to be critical. Dom, is a good player, which we're going to get into when I talk about the season so far, when we go back to the end of last season and all that stuff. So anyways, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores 6 minutes in. Okay, this is going to be our night. This is going to be great. Because all I wanted us to do, all we had to do is just get through to the next round. So we can get on our ball put into the hopper. I've been hearing everybody say our name in the hat. The balls aren't pulled from a hat. It's not crinkled up pieces of paper that go into a little hat and just rummage around in there and you pull out a piece of paper and, it's a hopper. It goes into a professional ball hopper, everybody, okay? And so I'm not, the only thing that convinced me about tonight from what I heard and from, and what I've seen in some highlights was that after we scored the second goal, which Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored again, which is amazing because he scores 2 goals against a championship club. Most people say that Dominic Calvert-Lewin's level is championship level. I think it's about bottom, for us right now in his progression, bottom half of the Premier League team striker right now. Obviously not top 6, not that. Not Europa League team player, not a Champions League player, all that stuff. But, he got into a position that we usually say, oh, Dom can't get into positions. Dom doesn't think enough on the fly. Can't be, Johnny on the spot. Isn't, a poacher in the box. But, he proved that against Sheffield Wednesday. So he can do it against the championship level club. And then, apparently, the rest of the game was just absolute dross, right? I heard Delph kept giving the ball away in the midfield. And I'm saying I heard. It's not like people were calling me or anything. I was listening on the radio. So, we all heard that certain players were having pretty terrible, not terrible games, but off nights. Our defense, apparently, at some point, we had 10 of our own players in the box with Jordan Pickford in there, so 9 plus Jordan. And somehow the ball went all the way to the far post, and they almost scored with somebody running in behind. The defense is still suspect. The chances we created and the shots we took and the shots on target are still pretty woefully abysmal for what we're trying to do. Delph also got a yellow card, which not surprising because he seems like the type of player, kind of like Richarlison, kind of like, let's just see this real quick. Yeah, we could have easily conceded a couple of goals tonight, apparently. So, all that aside, we got through to the next round. Marco Silva's heads off the chopping block for at least a little bit longer, if it's even on there at all, So, guess what? We won 2-0. Okay, on to the next round. Let's just hope we don't get Manchester City. Just hope that we don't get Liverpool, and we move on from there. Okay? End of. That's all I'm going to go into. I'm not going to start jumping up and down and saying, oh, look at us, we're fighting back. Oh, look at us. Look at the passion and the fight and the desire that we show. Look how we turned it around. Look how Silva got in their asses. And all this stuff. No, that's not how it happened. It's Sheffield Wednesday, who are dodgy in the championship, who were giving up goals in the championship. So get out of here with all that. And also, one more thing I also heard through the social medias. I heard that the Evertonian supporters that went there, yes, it was a cold, dreary, blustery, windy night down in Sheffield, all of that. But I heard that we were pretty shit again on the supporters' end. Yes, congratulations for going. It's great that we whatever we did, but still, I've heard that we only sang after the goals went in. We weren't, giving any banter. We weren't, singing any songs really besides when we scored. So that's something that has to be resolved because coming out of the match against Sheffield United, I heard the Sheffield United supporters, they were bantering us about the city being red and Sheffield is too and all that, and we haven't won a trophy since 1995. Heard all of that. But apparently there's something going around Goodison where there's only the Gladys Street that kind of gets singing songs and all that where the originals are. And then for the rest of the stadium, it's pretty much, old people and, millennials and people that are either too scared or too embarrassed. Oh, I'm too embarrassed to stand up and sing. Oh, what are people going to think of me if I start singing songs? Oh, get up and sing. You've paid your money. And I guess if you paid your money, you have the right to sit on your hands with your thumb up your ass and just watching the game. Left, right, left, right. Oh, that was good. But yeah, you're right. I guess, you have the right also to not cheer. Thanks, Jeff. To not cheer if you're not happy with what you're seeing. I understand that. But it's a cup game, so it's a little bit different because hard to get into. I'm not there, I guess. I'm an ocean away. I'm hundreds and hundreds of miles and oceans away from that. So maybe my point's not that valid, and I can understand that. But all I know is that I would go there and sing because I would want to partake in the atmosphere, and because if people, the best way to be happy, I guess, not in life, but the way I do it is to be happy, and if stuff's going wrong at work or in life, I find it easiest just to just keep your head up high and this and that. So it might be hard to believe that we're going to win a game, it might be hard to clap and all that stuff, but if the singing's a different thing, if all of a sudden the song about Kanchelskis comes up, or Cahill, or Dixie Dean, God, I don't know all the songs that they sing, but if you're singing about something that's not really quite current, and it's just to do with Everton's past, Everton's heritage, Everton's history, or a song that we just sing because it's our song and it's just we haven't sung it for a couple of minutes or a half or whatever, get up and sing, okay? I mean, it's like people that go to a concert, right? How many times do you see this at a concert these days where people have paid their money, 60, 70, 80 quid or whatever, and they're literally up there with their phone, looking at their phone, they're watching the concert through the phone, and it's just a sea of lights, and it's just a sea. No, put your phone in your pocket, or don't even bring it inside, and sing along with the song that you came to see. Okay, sing, sing, sing. That's what you're there for. Get the blood pumping. Get active. Shake it out with the singing. Everton FC. And then you just go from there, just enjoy the moment. But if you want to be a sourpuss, I've gone off on a huge tangent here, but Jeff's right. Singing from our fans, it wasn't 90 minutes. So I can understand the rain, the conditions and all that, but I'm just saying, for me personally, I'd be singing no matter what, because number one, it would probably annoy the fellow blues around me and looking at me like, oh, why is that get up and singing? What's he got to be happy about? Our football shit, and I want Marco Silva out, and you look at that guy singing. But yeah, I'm singing, mate, and you're not. So get off me. And then if you're away from home, let them know you're there. Okay, that's just me. So, anyways, on to what I was going to talk about. The season so far, right? And yes, it's only 6. I don't have it any longer. That might be the case, Jeff. That might be the case. So, yesterday was supposed to be the season so far, and I was supposed to talk about, the next video will be about player and player identity and team identity and stuff like that. But right now, I just want to look at the season so far. Yes, we're 6 games into the season, okay? And when you put the results up. Oh, these are the results, right? We've played 6, we've won 2, we've lost 3, and we've drawn 1. 7 points, okay? And you can look at Manchester United, or you can look at Chelsea, or you can look at some other teams, and it's like, our record's not that much different than theirs. It's but look at who those other teams have played. Okay, Chelsea have played Liverpool or Manchester United. Manchester United, let's not even get into Manchester United because they're almost as shit and almost as terrible at identity, at tactics, at players, at management as we are. So if there's any team that I think should be a little bit more up in arms about their situation in the Premier League and in football in general, it's probably the manure supporters. But I got no time for any sympathies for them. They run top for the longest time, so get out of here with that. But who have we played is the question, right? Who have we played? We've played Crystal Palace, we've played Watford, we've played Aston Villa, we've played Bournemouth, we've played Sheffield United, and we've played... Why am I missing one? Crystal Palace on the opening day, Watford, Villa, Wolves, Bournemouth, Sheffield United. Okay, there we go. We're done. Yeah, Bournemouth, thank you. Anyways, how can I forget that? I just don't want to remember it anymore. And so, yeah, okay. Those are the teams that we've played. And so now let's go back to the end of last season and let's look at where we were. Okay, we were spanking teams like Manchester United at home 4-0. And we got a result against Chelsea. We got a draw against Liverpool. We beat Arsenal, right? And, it was coming to the end of the season too, where Arsenal, Chelsea, they're all wound up in the Europa League. Chelsea have already pretty much secured Champions League for the next season. Arsenal were just being Arsenal because they're absolutely shocking at the back. And all that. So we took that on board. We said, oh, look at us against the top 6. Well, yeah, it's kind of easy to be able to play your type of football when your teams are coming onto you and you're at home and you've got the crowd behind you and the sirens are blaring and all of our players are fit and we're riding high. It's not easy, I wouldn't say, but it fits more in our style of attacking and the way that we like to play and want to play, that we get results against those teams. The key to the end of last season, for me, and for most people, if you have any inkling of what football is and how it works, is it's the 2-0 loss away to an already relegated Fulham that makes you a team that can possibly break into the top 6. It's not bottling it against Newcastle by being 2 goals up and losing 3-2 because you go down 1 goal, Marco Silva shits the bed, goes to a back 3, and then everything just goes to shit. And then getting a 0-0 away to Crystal Palace when we had plenty of opportunities to score. That is what and then the last game of the season against Tottenham, the 2-2 doesn't matter. Tottenham were looking towards the Champions League. We just wanted to get out of there and go on holiday. So we got a 2-2. Cenk Tosun scores. That tells you all you need to know about what the last game against Tottenham was. And so we go into the off-season, okay? Everyone not everyone gets to take a break. A lot of players go off to play in the AFCON or play in the Nations League or play in the the Copa America, sorry. But our main thing is transfers. What are we going to do? Who are we going to lose? Who's going out? Who needs to come in? What do we need to retain? So we take a look at what we needed. We definitely needed a center forward. There's no doubt about that. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for all of him coming on strong and improving week after week, game after game, just still not enough to be a number 1 striker for a team that wants to make it into the top 6, right? And then Cenk Tosun, we all know what Cenk is, and he doesn't really fit into our system. Decent player, decent finisher, can hold the ball up or have a knockdown like we saw against Lincoln in the Cup, but really not a starter for Everton. So we needed to get a player in, okay? So we look at that. We also were looking at maybe somebody to come in with a left foot on the right-hand side, because Richarlison and Walcott, that's too far of a drop-off in quality and in style of player. So Richarlison kind of needed a backup. Yes, Bernard can play over there, but, we were a little light on the outside. That obviously key was getting Andre Gomez signed up. That was the big cry for most Evertonians. On day 1 of the summer, we wanted Andre Gomez signed, but then, of course, West Ham looked like they were going in for him, and Tottenham was sniffing around. But at the end of the day, he came to us. We knew that Ghana was going out, so we had to find a replacement. So I don't want to hear anything about Marco Silva and Brands tried to keep him. He was going. Look at his connections, look at his background, look at his ethnic background, look at his age. We'd have to give him a bumper contract with high wages, with, basically being a contract for him to see out the rest of his days at Everton Football Club. And you have to pay for that. So Ghana was obviously going, so we were going to need to fill that void. And, we needed to get some more in there, especially a defensive midfield. That's obviously what Ghana was. But even if Ghana would have stayed, we would have still needed backup because Schneiderlin, as we've seen now, as we saw last season, just isn't that level that we need to get into the top six. And that's the thing, right? We've been told that that's the aspiration for this club. Okay, it's not like I'm, I keep saying top six, like I'm dreaming, or that's my interpretation of what the club said. The club has said clearly, and pundits say all the time, the next best team outside the big six is usually Everton, right? Those that never make it. But in a little league of our own, we have a couple of teams. Like last season, it was Wolves, Everton, Watford, Leicester kind of hanging around there. This season, I think that's even shortened just to Everton, Leicester, West Ham. Because Watford are obviously gash. Wolves are in the Europa League, and they don't have the squad depth to keep up with a Thursday, Sunday. So, it's a little 3-person league up from, 7th to 9th. But that's what we've been told. Mashiri spends money. He has no problem putting his hand in his pocket and bringing out money. So we know that. We've got Brands, who comes with such a high reputation of being a shrewd businessman, of getting good players, of bringing in players that can develop, players that fit into the team, players that fit into the manager's tactics and strategy and all that stuff. And Marco Silva obviously wants to play a 4-3-3, but he has to play a certain formation because of what the players that he's got. Therefore, the past season, the 2018-19 season, was basically an Everton rebuild, if you want to call it that. And then we get through the season, we look at where we're at, we look at which players Marco likes, which ones are going to stay, which players need to go out, which players we need to bring in to suit the system. And that's what we were told. That's what we've been told. The money's there, the stadium's coming, that's all in there. So we're trying to make ourselves into a top 6 team. And not only that, with all that I've just said, also Chelsea gets slapped with a transfer ban for financial irregularity. No, it wasn't financial irregularities. Was it signing or doing something with underage players? I don't know, but they got slapped with a 2 transfer window ban. Okay, so Chelsea and Sarri left. They brought Lampard in. Oh yeah, no, that's one defense, Jeff. I'll give you that, and I'll read that out in a second. But that's one defense. That doesn't cover all the bases of what's wrong with Everton Football Club right now, obviously. And so, Chelsea, there for the taking, we were told. And I believed it, and I still do believe it. After watching them on the opening against Manchester United, watching them how Sheffield United came from 2 goals behind, watching them against Liverpool. Yes, they've got promise, but they've got young players in the team. They've got a squad of players that haven't really played together because you've got Mount in there, you've got Abraham in there, Zuma's come back, Tomori's just come into the team. They've got injuries now, but before the season, you've looked at it and said, okay, Chelsea, they might be in the Champions League, but under Frank, new style of management, not being able to bring any players in, that's a team that could be a little wobbly for the top 6. And then you look at Arsenal. We've always known that they've got absolutely widespread, obvious frailties at the back. They've got like 8 defenders on the roster, and all of them are absolutely shocking except for Bellerin and maybe Chambers. Okay, all the rest of them, look at him, Socrates, Papadopoulos, whatever his name is, Mustafi, who else they got that plays back there? They got David Luiz back there now. They're just a bunch of bottle jobs at the back, and I don't rate their keeper Leno too much anyways. So, their back five's absolutely shaky and horrible. Their midfield, they've got gritty, decent players in there. But, Guendouzi's still a young lad. Torreira's still a young lad. Xhaka is absolutely fucking shocking in everything that he does. I don't know how he wears the captain's armband. I don't know how he gets on the bench or in the squad every week. But up front, Arsenal, all they got Aubameyang, they've got Lacazette, now they've got Nicolas Pepe. That's enough to get you in the top 6. Okay, easy. And then they do win a decent amount or get results or points at least a decent amount away from them. That's Arsenal to a T. Slamming the goals. Keep the Emirates a fortress and then take some points on the road. And how you get those points, Aubameyang decides he's had enough and takes a 1-0 victory. Lacazette decides, I just came on for 10 minutes, so I'm going to bag a goal. That's just how they work. They take 1-0s or they come back and they get 1-1s. But if you get enough draws away from home, say you draw 10, 11 games away from home, that's 10 or 11 points that you just get to add to your points total that you take home from your home games. And in Manchester United, bring in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For 3 months, they have great results because he takes the shackles off. Pogba's slinging assists and goals for fun. Rashford looks like a half-decent player, which he never usually does. Jesse Lingard actually put in the performance. So, and there was those results, and then Ollie starts to go to something which we do, the boring, lackadaisical shit formation of a 4-2-3-1, two holding midfielders, and aging crap midfielders. You got Matic, you've got Mata. I mean, Ender Herrera was decent, but he went out the door. You've got Pogba in there, who I rate as a player, but as a personality or as a image, I think he's absolutely shocking, and I guess it's just not my demographic. Okay, that he just doesn't appeal to me, and that's fine. Okay, there's certain players that appeal to me that wouldn't appeal to others. So, that's just how it goes. And then up top, Lukaku was going to be gone. Sanchez out the door. Who they got? Martial, who's hit or miss, also kind of a little bit injury prone. Marcus Rashford, who's on something like 200,000 a week. I'm telling you right now, I would not take Marcus Rashford at Everton Football Club. I would not take Marcus Trashford. I would not take Trashford at Manchester at Everton FC. People may disagree with that, but I would not. No, I would not. Okay, and then who else you got? That was about it, right? Lingard, no. They've got Mason Greenwood. So you look at those teams. You look at Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United. What they've got management-wise, player-wise, tactical-wise, ban-wise. Those teams needed work. The top three, City, Liverpool, I guess switch it. Liverpool, City, Tottenham. That's solid. And then the bottom six. So we had a prime opportunity to start the season when the results came out, right? So we're in the middle of the season, in the middle of the summer, and we're interested in players. We're looking all around. We're looking at players like, who are we looking at? I forget. Like David Neres. We're looking at Malcolm. We're looking at Bertrand Traore from somewhere in France. We're linked with all these players. And then all of a sudden, the fixture results come out. And we look at it and we go, who did Everton play? And then you're looking at it, Crystal Palace away. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, Watford at home. Ooh. Aston Villa, newly promoted Aston Villa. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, and then home to Wolves. That might be tricky, but that's winnable. And then away to Bournemouth, home to Sheffield United, another promoted team, and then we play Manchester City. Wow, okay, so those first 6 games, with what we've just talked about, with these other teams, and look at Manchester United away to Chelsea on the first day of the season. One of those teams that we're competing with is gonna either drop 2 points, or they're only gonna get 1 point. They're gonna get no points in 3. So someone's gonna lose out in that game right off the bat. And then you see, the other teams that are around us. See what Arsenal's games are. You see, and you say, wow, if we could just get results, if we could just get 13 to 15 points out of those opening 8 games before Manchester City come to us and just slap us around. Maybe not goal-wise, maybe not score-wise, because, when they came to Goodison last time, we lost 2-0, and it was like goals at close to the end of each half. Like Jesus scored right before half and then right from the end. Oh, Pepper Red. Let's just see what you're saying here. Pepper, I'm not ranting, my friend. Welcome. I'm just expounding on our season so far. So, yeah, we looked at those first 6 games, and we thought, like I said, 12 to 15 points, First game of the season, although it doesn't matter who we play, because you look at what happened, Manchester United versus Chelsea. Chelsea came out, and they passed the ball around, and they looked on the front foot, and Abraham hits the bar, and they hit the post, and then they ended up getting absolutely spanked on the counter-attack with Paul Pogba in there, who, like I said, decent player, knobhead of a human being, I think. Take that for what it's worth. But he's playing the balls through, all of that. And so we go away to Crystal Palace. And last season, we drew with Crystal Palace. And then we look at the team and look at the players that we brought. We've brought in Gabaman, but obviously not going to be ready to play right away, not up to speed. We brought in Moise Kean, same situation. But then we brought in Alex Iwobi, who doesn't need any time to adjust to the Premier League. He's played over 100 games for Arsenal in the Premier League. He's played in Champions League games. It got to the far stage of the Champions League. He's played in Europa Cup finals. He's played in FA Cup finals. All that stuff. Maybe time to gel into the team and the tactics, but all that stuff. So the players that we brought in, and what we should learn from our deficiencies from last season, like drawing away at Crystal Palace, like losing 2-0 to an already relegated Fulham. We should have obviously known, and people were saying it all season, is Everton are good against the top. It's all a bit September-y, mate. Yeah. Anyway, so we knew that teams that shut up shop, like a Fulham, like a Newcastle, like a Crystal Palace, what they're going to do is they're going to let you come onto them, and they're going to block off the channels that we like to go down, which would have been Luca Dean and Bernard on the left last season, and Richarlison and Seamus Coleman on the right. And then you collapse into the midfield, you pack the midfield, you bring the defense in, you make it all compact, and then you make us come in, and then we're trapped. Or we go to the outside and we cross it into the box, and there's just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players in there that are facing the ball because everything's in front of them, and they just head it out all day. And just head it out because it's boring and it's pedantic and it's predictable. And that's what we got caught with last season in our away games against lesser teams that were just looking for that. And those teams got results against us. So you'd think coming into this season that we would try and find a way around that. The Marco would have worked on that, but we didn't see any of it in pre-season. Yes, most of our... Richarlison wasn't there for pre-season. Mina wasn't there for pre-season. Keane and Pickford were... late coming back. Lots of other players were late coming back, and they came back in sprinkles, because when we played Karabangi Sharks in Kenya, we literally took like half of our first team and a whole bunch of under 23s and U21s and all that. We were never going to get a sniff. And then for most of the preseason games too, Sigurdsson wasn't there, obviously. When you're playing Omar Niasse up top, because everyone else is either injured like Tosin was, or just not available because Dominic Calvert-Lewin is playing with the under-21s. And, so the preseason, we didn't get to work on anything because most of our players weren't there that start on a regular basis, or at least in the 18 every single week. So, the preseason for me was basically a complete waste of time. Yeah, apparently it's supposed to get you energy levels up. Supposedly it's supposed to get you fit, but, then we go on to the season. So we brought in all the players, right? And we should have adapted and been able to get results, because that's what we need to do. Fuck the top teams when they come to us. They're going to come onto us. We're going to counter on them. And we're going to play our way of football, because there's going to be spaces open on the pitch. When they come forward, when they come attacking, they're going to bring it on. And there's going to be holes on the pitch that good players, smart players, like Sigurdsson, like Bernard, like Richarlison, can pick up on those spaces, get in there. We quickly move the ball from back to front, and we slam in goals. Look at the goal we scored against look at the goal that Siggy scored against Manchester United. Look at the goals that we scored against Chelsea. All of that good stuff. That's what we're good at. There was no problem there, because the same players there. We've even added to that with Alex Iwobi and Moise Kean. But it was the low block teams. It was the bottom of the barrel Premier League teams. It was going to be, the games on paper were the Palace game opening day. Watford at home, that was going to be 3 points no matter what. Always is. Should have been more than 1-0, but of course we barely showed up, had less possession than Watford. Absolutely abject amount of shots on target and shot accuracy and all that stuff. And then, we go away to Villa, Friday night game. And so this is going to be a test. Villa's going to be in for it. Their defenders aren't really that great at the end of the day. They just come up. The crowd's going to be up for it. The players are going to be up for it. They've got some decent players. They've got McGinn in the centre of the park. They've got Jack Grealish in the centre of the park, who, by the way, I'd love to have Jack Grealish at Everton, just so you know. And then you've got... I can't even remember the guy's name that plays up top for Aston Villa. What's his name? Like Wallace or Wesley. I'd never even heard of Wesley before. And then we show up, and of course, we don't take the crowd out of the game. We don't do anything that a decent away team should do. We huff and we puff and we cross the ball and we play it down the outside. And then what do we go and do? Simple mistakes that you shouldn't make. Gomez makes a foul in the back of one of their players. They quickly pick up the ball and they quickly play it forward. Nobody puts a foot on the ball. Nobody pulls the sock up. Nobody gets in the player's face. Nobody kicks the ball away. Nobody does anything. They break on us. Bernard's taken out of it. Gomez taken out of it. Digne's taken out of it. The guy strolls up the pitch on the right side for 15, 20 yards. And then, sorry, I keep looking at chat. And then Wesley does exactly what Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't do. He comes in from the left side. He leaves Seamus. He goes in front of Keane or Mina. I think it's Keane or Mina. And then he goes in behind the other centre back. It's a perfectly timed run with a perfectly timed pass. Slips it to the only part of the goal that it could go to Pickford's right-hand side. And it's 1-0. Our heads go down. We can't do anything about it. And then we get busted with a second goal right before the end of the game. And that's when it all starts to fall apart. Okay, and then we go back to Wolves. And we win 3-2. It's, 3-2, that's great against Wolves. You know, they're not challenging us for shit. They're dodgy. They don't have good squad depth. They've been playing, they've played like 4 Europa League games. Their season started early. And it's not like we battered them. It was we score, you score, we score, you score. Richarlison does what he does. We barely eke out a result against Wolves, okay? For all the fist pumping and all the hoorah-rah, it wasn't that great of a game. We didn't look great going forward. We didn't look solid at the back. And then we go on to... Bournemouth. And enough said about that because we all know what happened there. Just absolutely shocking defensive display. Absolutely clueless, inept way of doing things going forward. And then the same to be said against Sheffield United. And here's what really gets me about the Sheffield United game. Not only the result, not only everything. Did you hear what Chris Wilder said at the end when he was interviewed by Sky Sports? He said, that was our worst performance of the season. Okay, yeah, laugh it up. Laugh, chuckle. Yeah, that is what he said. He said, that is our worst performance of the season so far. Coming to Goodison Park and winning 2-0 is the worst result for Sheffield United so far this season. What does that say about Everton Football Club? What does that say about the style of football that we play? When a team wins and the first thing the manager comes out and says is, we were shit. We were absolutely shit, and we went away, and we got away not only winning the game, not only scoring 2 goals, when we only had 2 shots on their goal, and we had 2 shots on goal, we had 1 shot on target, and we scored 2 goals, or we have 2 goals, and we got out of there. Yeah, and that's the thing. Right, and that's been our season so far. It's been the same shit formation. It's the same boring, predictable football. It's that we go out, I don't know if it's an overconfidence thing, I don't know if the players just think they're better than they are, because they're really good players. On paper, if you look at it and go, oh, Jordan Pickford, international. Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, both internationals. Oh, look, the whole back line is international players. We move over to the midfield. Oh, Andre Gomez. Oh, yeah, Fabian Delph. Yeah. Oh, Richarlison. That's a player. That's a boy right there. Alex Iwobi. That's a great player. Alex Iwobi, great player. Well, Moise Kean got potential. So you go through the list and we've got quality players. We've got top 6 quality players. We just don't play a top 6 quality formation. We don't show top 6 quality heart, desire, passion, ambition, yada, 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 saying the same things over and over about this club. And now we find ourselves in this position, 7 points from 6 games, and we haven't fucking played anybody. No disrespect to those teams. No disrespect, but losing to 2 newly promoted teams, not scoring a goal against them, and conceding 4 is absolutely fucking abysmal. Conceding 2 goals to a completely inept Wolves team is unacceptable. Conceding the 3 goals that we conceded against Bournemouth is absolutely shocking. So let's get into some numbers, shall we? Let's just take a look at some numbers, okay? What has our possession been? Average possession this season so far has been 56.9%. So we know that we're holding the ball. We know that we're controlling the game. But we don't do anything with it. Because it's all pass to the left, pass farther left. And we have that little horseshoe, right? We've got the little horseshoe. Oh, that's fine, Jeff. Don't worry. I'm just going to keep going, baby. And so it's a little horseshoe. It's a little horseshoe. It's a Digne to Keane to Mina to Seamus to some central midfielder to another central midfielder. And then we slowly move up the pitch. And then by then the defense is already settled. They've got 9, 10 men behind the ball. They're just waiting for us to do something. Everything is in front of their defense. They know what we're going to do. We're going to go outside to Richie. We're going to go down the side to Luca Dean. Then we just recycle it and try and go from the other side. There's nothing going through the middle of the park. There's no space for Sigurdsson to work in. There's no players bombing on. Like, Schneiderlin gets the ball, and he could have 10 different Jose Mourinho buses sitting in front of him. He doesn't dash into the space. He's a gutless coward on the ball. He's not expansive. Maybe that's not what he's in the team to do. Obviously it's not. That's not what Delph's in the team for. That's not what Gay was in the team for. When you see 10, 15, 20 yards of room in front of you with nobody marking it and nobody waiting for it, you bomb on and get into those positions. Everybody standing around doing fuck all isn't going to help the situation at all. And so he just holds the ball up, passes it to Seamus, passes it to his midfielder buddy. And Gomez... Yeah, I can't get on Gomez too much this season because he's missed like half the game so far this season. And that is a worry for me, by the way. I'm going to say right now, Andre Gomez's injury record so far this season is a worry for me. So that's what I'm going to say about that. What else do we have that we could take a look at? Oh, passing accuracy. See, here's a good one. That's a great number. 789. Woo, baby. That is a wonderful. So I'm getting a little parched here. Don't mind if I have a Fanta, do you? Delicious. So anyways, passing accuracy, 78.9%. Bravo. We're keeping control of the ball. We're making accurate passes. Well, see, I could make an accurate pass. Me and Jeff and Pepper and Ant, we could all stand in a square 5 yards apart from each other, and we could pass the ball back and forth, right? And I'm pretty sure that our passing accuracy would be pretty high. So if you're not expansively switching the ball, like you never see Seamus Coleman pinging a ball to Bernard or Iwobi on the left side. You never see Luca Dean pinging a ball out to Richarlison or out to Dominic Calvert-Lewin when he's up top. There's no pinging a ball. There's no risk involved when you pass the ball safely all the time. And you're not keeping the defense honest. You're not keeping the opposition team thinking. You know that when Seamus Coleman gets the ball, his options are Richarlison in front of him, central midfielder square, or play it back to Michael Keane, and that's it. And then you move up the pitch. Seamus to Keane. Seamus runs behind the player. He gets it back. Like you know that Seamus Coleman is not going to ping a ball up to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, up to Moise Kean, up to Cenk Tosun if he's playing. Luca Dean, more likely to do it, but you know what you're going to get from Seamus. You know that Morgan Schneiderlin is probably not going to try and do that from the center of midfield. You know Gomez is going to try it. You see it all the time. You can see that Fabian Delph is going to do it, but not all the time. But because we go down the left side and the right side so often, those players are usually marked into oblivion. So you can't ping a ball to Luca Dean because you know that he's going to be marked up. Because if we switch the play to the left side, it's going to be Luca Dean. It's going to be crossing the ball in or playing a 1-2 with Bernard. So it's only two things that we're going to do down the left side. We're going to whip in a cross, or we're going to try and play a little 1-2. So what you do is you stay touch tight with the player, or give him a couple of yards and then pounce on him. Like, it's simple, easy, schoolboy stuff that the opposition has to actually do against us to keep us from getting shots on target or being creative in any other way. So yeah, sure, pass accuracy looks great, but like I said, my dogs can roll a ball to each other out of their mouths. Just put the ball in, and it'll bounce. It'll probably go somewhere close to the other dog, and he'll just put his paw on it. or whatever. Like, it's not hard. Dogs can have a passing accuracy of 78.9%. Babies playing in a crib, throwing their rattle at each other, can have a 78.9% chance of hitting the other baby in the face, or when they're throwing their food off their spoon at their parents or whatever. Like, it's not hard to do something from 5 yards away. But yeah. So what can we go on to next? Take a look. Oh, let's take a look at shots compared to shots on target. Well, this tells a story, doesn't it? This tells a story from the first 6 games, Premier League games, by the way. I'm not counting the Carabao Cup or the Bukaki Cup or whatever it's called. You know, just this. So we're averaging 13.2 shots per game. Not enough for me. Not enough for me. But it's the 3.3 shots on target per game. Right? So, I mean, I didn't do the calculation on that, but seeing as I'm live streaming and seeing as I can do what I want and seeing as I'm not going to offend anybody, let's just do a quick little bit of math here. So that's an even 25% of the 25% of our shots are on target. So you can look at other teams. I'm not sure what Liverpool's shot percentages for shots to shots on target, and I'm not sure what their Manchester City's is, what Tottenham's are, or what teams at the bottom league, or what Watford are. But the difference between us and Liverpool is vast, obviously, and between Manchester City is vast, obviously. But if you see where Liverpool score their goals and where they take shots from, it's varied. I'm not gonna say random because it's not, but it's varied. Could be from outside the 18. You know, you see Mo Salah going in over the top behind and scoring goals 1-on-1 with the keeper. You saw him coming. You see him coming in at the back post. You see him cutting in from the right side onto his left foot and scoring screamers from 20, 25 yards. And they miss, you know, tons and tons of shots, and so do Manchester City miss tons and tons of shots. But they pile on the pressure. You know, they do it from different angles, from different people. They have a fluid front line. You know, their play from front to back is quick and it's progressive and it's not predictable all the time. Or it could be predictable. It's like, okay, Liverpool's offense is Sadio Mane, who is outstanding, Mohamed Salah, who is outstanding, and Roberto Firmino, who for me, and for an Evertonian, for a Blue, I don't enjoy saying this, but the best false number 9 I've probably seen in a decade. Okay, the amount of work that Bobby Firmino puts in, the amount of times that he's unselfish with his play, with his little back heel flicks, he's so smart, he's so intelligent as a player, and he looks to be enjoying himself. His pearly white teeth, he's an absolutely outstanding footballer. And then when you've got players like that who can flick the ball like that, who can come short and get the ball and worry defenders and bring and move defenders, that's the thing too. Manchester City, Liverpool, the best at moving defenses around. The amount of times that you see Salah come in, that you see De Bruyne, that you see Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Raheem Sterling, like the amount of times that they switch around, and I look at the defensive formation of their opposition and go, well, they're in a fucking whirlwind right now. They have no clue what's going on. They have no clue what's going on behind them. They have no clue what's going on in front of them. They don't know where they are. They don't know what day it is. They don't know what month it is. They don't know what the score is. They're probably losing, but the opposition has no idea against Liverpool and Manchester City, and even like against Tottenham sometimes, occasionally. They have no concept of what's going on because that is part of it. And then you add the pace into it, and then you add the quickness of thought into it, and then you add the creativity into it. You know, that's what separates Manchester City and Liverpool from the rest of the league, but we don't even do that once or twice in a game. Right? You never see Bernard and Richarlison switching. You never see, Richarlison coming in and Sigurdsson going out. So, okay, you did it in the Carabao Cup against Lincoln City. If that's the only time that we have balls enough to do something like that is against a League One team away from home in the Carabao Cup. That's the only time that we show any type of balls to have to transition and have a fluid offense. That's part of our problem. Okay, and I understand. To bring this all back around, Marco Silva doesn't really have that much of an option, really, when it comes to his formation right now. He obviously doesn't trust Tom Davis. He played today against Sheffield Wednesday, but again, championship club, who gives a shit? It's the Carabao Cup. But it's good to see Tom get 90 minutes. I think he got 90 minutes. Maybe he didn't. I don't know if he got subbed off or not. Because it wasn't on TV, because Crawley and Stoke got on TV, but Everton and Sheffield Wednesday didn't. Fucking absolutely disgraceful. Anywho, but it seems that he has to play Schneiderlin because he wants to play safe football. It's almost like the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thing at Manchester United, where you're afraid to play, the youth players. You're afraid to switch it up too much because you don't want to get, paddled. You don't want to get beaten severely. You don't want to be embarrassed. But sorry, like I said, Delph and Schneiderlin can't play together because they're not mobile enough. They're not ambitious enough. They don't run into the spaces as much. Delph does it a little bit, but it's not Andre Gomez, is it? They don't have any inclination, or I don't think they have enough bravery to leave their position and bomb on and join the attack when we're even trying to attack, okay? So basically, you've got the back four with Seamus Coleman, who's supposed to be bombing on and doing something, but he's predictable and he's gotten worse. So it's time for Djibril Sidibe to at least challenge him. He played today, yes, but again, Carabao Bukake Cup. But we need to win the Bukaki Cup because we haven't won that, and it'd be an easy potential route into Europe. But that being said, you got Luca D on the left side, so yeah, the defense does what it does. But if we've got two holding midfielders, that's 6 players that don't partake in the offense. And so we go forward, and we've got Sigurdsson most of the time, who, for some reason, Marco Silva doesn't want to drop or take out the team, because basically our 4-2-3-1 is basically built around Gylfi Sigurdsson, right? So if we take him out, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I've shown you plenty of times what I would do, and I've still got Oh, okay. Thank you. I did that. Yes, I don't see why the transition is so bad. So anyways, this is what I would do. Oh, God. Yeah. So, but what's wrong with this formation? There's nothing wrong with this formation. He plays here. You spread it out wide. You do it like this. And then, and then even Bernard can come inside. And then out here. So you can interchange this part too. So Bernard can come in here. This could be an overlap, or, you go back to out here, so you've got Iwobi and this and that, or Iwobi comes inside and, Bernard comes into here and bombs on, and Iwobi comes back to cover that, and then you've got in here. Like, it's not a difficult thing to do. Like, it's really not that hard to do something like that. It takes balls, and it takes trying something new, but that's what Evertonians want. That's what Blues want to see happen, is a little ingenuity, a little, a little risk-taking. We're tired and sick and tired of all this stuff. And then we can get into this. Here we go. This is the Premier League. We've scored 5 goals. 4 of them have been at home against really, really lackluster defensive sides. And one of them was away at Bournemouth, where, that goal should have actually brought us back into the game if we'd have made changes at halftime. And I'm not even going to get into the substitutions of Silva and all that, because that's for another part of this mini series that I'm doing. And so 9 goals conceded, 5 goals scored. If we were keeping clean sheets, the 5 goals and all the possession, all the shots, we were winning games. And we weren't conceding goals, obviously. We just only scored 5, but we had somewhere between 12 and 15 points after 6. Let's say 10 to 13 points after 6. People wouldn't really be complaining as much as they are, or as much as me. Maybe I'm just a whiny baby. Okay, maybe I'm not seeing football as it's supposed to be seen. Maybe my football IQ is so low. Okay, but maybe not. Maybe I know what I'm talking about. But that is also thoroughly unacceptable. But it comes from the lack of ideas, the lack of strategy, the refusal of Silva not to change it, and for him to keep playing two defensive midfielders, not switching the formation, and then even when we do bring on substitutions, if you're going to bring on Bernard for Iwobi or Iwobi for Bernard, that's just changing a player that plays in the same position. Okay, and I know we threw the kitchen sink at Sheffield United. Yeah, apparently, Yeah, I agree with that. Well, we could do the wing and put Richarlison number 10 role. The rest of your team is lacking a bit. Yeah, I get that. But if you go to a formation like a 4-3-3, you can actually have movable parts, right? You could, I mean, maybe Richarlison coming to the number 10 role. It's not, I would play Richarlison at number 10 role. I'm not saying I would play, Bernard in the number 10 role, even though I think he can play there. I'm thinking that once we start playing, we have the same back four, and then you have JP Gabaman holding. You've got Andre Gomez on the right side of midfield. You've got either Fabian Delph, depending on the game, or Alex Iwobi playing on the left side of that midfield three. And then you've got Bernard, and you've got Richarlison, and you've got Moise Kean or Dominic Calvert-Lewin playing up there, but if you got Delph in the team, you can play Iwobi or Bernard. Yes, but they can come in. Like Richarlison can play just as well from the inside of the park and be just as creative as he is on the outside. And you play a 4-3-3, and you've got the players closer together because you can interchange. Richarlison could be in the box more. Alex Iwobi can be in the box more. Bernard can be in the box more. People that actually have some balls. Because Schneiderlin, you don't see him bombing into the box and busting a gut to get in there. You don't see Fabian Delph doing that. You don't really see Andre Gomez doing it. So we need players coming in late, like Lampard used to do, like Gerrard used to do, like, quality midfielders have done for time immemorial, that come in late into the box and pick it up. And just have some self-belief that that's going to happen. The amount of times that we cross balls in and we're outnumbered in the box because there's not enough people challenging for balls, or we're too scared to do any of that. It's just not acceptable. And so this is where we are this season. This is the season so far. It's been abysmal. It's been boring. It's been horrible. Because you know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to see. And literally, I sit there on the Everton Twitter page before I start my watch-alongs, and I just wait for that. You know how you have where it says Twitter on the top of your tab, and you get in parentheses you get the one because there's one new tweet, and I'm like, oh, it's the team news. Oh, it's the team news. I just did my preview, and I came up with these great ways that we should play, what other people say we should play, and what formations we could play, and the personnel that we have, and I click on it and I go, oh, Schneiderlin and Delph, two defensive holding midfielders against Sheffield United. Why? Fucking my ass. Why is this happening? And I'm sure the Sheffield United manager, he wouldn't want to do it, but he'd probably get that team sheet and go, oh, we need to take Everton seriously today, guys. Yeah, they see us as quite the offensive threat. They've got two holding defensive midfielders playing at home at Goodison in front of a newly promoted Sheffield United. Are you fucking kidding me? That doesn't make the crowd happy. That doesn't make the supporters around the world, Evertonians worldwide, boo, that lineup. It doesn't make anybody. And I don't think it can give the players that much confidence either. So what does? Away from home, you can maybe sort of defend it. I wouldn't. I'm not going to defend it. Come at me, bro. I'm not going to defend it. But I would, but at home it's unacceptable on so many levels because that's not what people are looking for. People were, this week at least, were looking for Tom Davies in the team. We were looking for attacking players. We were looking for something new, and we got absolutely nothing new. Everything was the same. The result was the same. The fight was the same. The determination was the same. The tactics were the same. The substitutions were abysmal and unacceptable on so many levels. Like I said, so that's it. That's our season so far. Yes, it's only 6 games in. I understand that. But from what we've been told of where our ambition lies and the players that we've bought in, obviously the players have been scouted, right? Moise Ken's been scouted. Alex Iwobi's been scouted. Sidibe's been scouted. JP Gabaman, Delph, they've all been scouted. Marco Silva says, oh, Marcella, I want to play a 4-3-3. I want to play a 4-3-3, and we'll have solutions in the moment. And, we work hard in training and solutions, and, solutions. And so the solution would be that these players fit into the formation. So why don't you play in the formation that you bought these players in? Pepper, I like you that you're trying to be humble, but your supporters get up for it. I don't care what people say about, all your friends are in Norway, or, or you've got tourist supporters. I'll go along with the banter, but the simple fact is I don't care if you show up to Anfield and you're from China, from Hong Kong, from Ghana, from Antarctica, from Siberia, from Turkey. Trying. Oh. But they sing. And as much as I don't, this may not sound very good coming from a Blue, okay, and from an Evertonian, but because I love football so much, and it might be hyped up, you can let me know, Pepper. But when the game's about to start and they're playing, You Never Walk Alone, and they cut it off, right? They're singing, they've got it playing over the PA system. And they cut it off, and all the flags are in the air, all the scarves are in the air, and they're singing along. It might be manufactured, but it gives the people at home something to ooh, and it gives the crowd something. They go, oh, we're up for it, and they sing. You look at what happened with Liverpool versus Barcelona, right? At home, everybody would have written off Liverpool, okay, when the result that they got when they went to the new camp. They come back home. But the only people that believed, right, were the Reds, the Liverpool people. Like, if you'd have talked to most Reds, some people have said, oh, I'm a pessimist, or I'm a realist, or I'm this or that. It's Barcelona, it's Messi, it's da-da-da-da-da. But everyone says Anfield, it's a cauldron, it's made for European nights, right? And so if you'd have lost 3-1 or on aggregate, or you hadn't the one, everyone said, oh, look at that, it's just a whole bunch of hype. The crowd can't do anything to influence a game. The players didn't have the self-belief. They knew they couldn't come from 3 goals down. But look what happened. Look what happens when players believe in the system, when the manager instills a system into their players. The crowd believe it, because you can't sing, walk on, walk on. Sorry, my voice is horrible. But you can't sing that and belt it out and wave your flag, because you'd be like Evertonians if you didn't believe. We clap and we sing a couple of songs, but then we don't do it the whole game. Oh, we go 1-0 down. We go 2-0 down, or or a team equalizes. Our heads go down. We don't sing. We don't wave the banners anymore. We just sit there like a bunch of grumpy fucks. And it's not only Evertonians, right? It's teams all around the league, but there's a certain belief. You believed that you could come back and beat Barcelona. You believed that the crowd singing and the crowd being hyped and the noise, that was going to translate onto the pitch. That was going to translate into victory. That was going to translate, and you were going to be able to get across to the team. The manager was going to get across. The coaching staff was going to be able to get across to the players that you're not done. You're not beaten. The significance of being at Anfield. The legends that have played at your club. Dalglish, Souness, Rush, Barnes. Look at what we've accomplished. Look at what has happened at Anfield on nights like tonight. It is not over. And you go out there and you win because everybody comes together and you believe in the system, in the style of play and all that stuff. And nobody cops an attitude. Nobody's head goes down. And that's how you perform on the biggest stage of them all. We're nowhere near even close to having 1/10 of the mentality of what a Liverpool does, what a Manchester City does, what a Pep Guardiola can put into players, okay? And so we're 6 games in on 7 points and we've lost 3 games. 2 of them to recently promoted opposition. You know, and you can unsubscribe or boo me or say that I'm, you don't like it that I'm talking well of, of Liverpool FC, that carpites are gobshites and all that stuff. It's I love football overall, so I can admit when I enjoy something. It doesn't make me less of an Everton. It doesn't make me less of a Blue. Not to me, anyway. But this has gone on for rather a long time. But that's where we're at. Tomorrow, I believe, we are going to discuss players and identity. So if we do this, get rid of the goals, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Yeah, we've got the season so far. So tomorrow, we will be focusing on, in a more, in a more philosophical way of doing things. This was just a bunch of ranting and raving because we all know the season's been shit so far, right? Don't forget the Discord. By the way, if you're watching this for the first time and you've gotten all the way through this, you've liked the passion and you've liked the things that you've heard there, give us a like, give us a subscribe, even if you're not a Evertonian or a Blue. Pepper Red here just came in randomly one day for whatever reason, not really too sure why, but he's been back every now and then checking out the content. So he must like the Mr. Archer. He must like what is said. He must like how welcoming and engaging my very small but very committed and very dedicated chat is. And so come on in. We've got Arsenal supporters in here. We've had Chelsea supporters in here. We've had Wolves supporters in here. Come on in. Say what's up. In from the right. So it all comes together. It all comes together. But I am the Mr. Archer, and like I said, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. Of course, you have to respect that achievement, Jeff. Okay, so time out. End this right here. I'm not going to end the stream, but actually I will. I think if I end the stream, I can still talk to you guys in chat, right? Let's just try that real quick.